Todd Graves has quickly risen up my ranks of my favorite entrepreneurs, the founder and CEO of Raising Cane's, a chicken finger restaurant. When you create and do, you're never going to stop creating and doing because it's part of what you are. It's part of your DNA. That is the quote we're going to be focusing on for episode 3, quote 3. Fascinating individual this man is, and just by watching his interviews, listening to his interviews, reading articles about him, this man is a great human being. He seems like such a kind person and treats people with respect, which I love. He doesn't seem like he's fake like some entrepreneurs come off as. So Todd Graves, what was happening in their life when they said this quote? This was from 2025, so there's been a lot happening in Todd Graves' life and a lot happening in Raising Cane's in general. I believe he said this during an interview. So I listened to the Founders podcast by David Senra, and he did, I think it was episode 383, he did about Raising Cane's and Todd Graves. And there's no books or anything about Todd Graves, not at this moment in time at least. So David, I believe, listened to 2 interviews that Todd Graves did and transcribed those. I think this quote was from one of those interviews. So at this stage in life, 2025, he's almost 3 decades into running Raising Cane's. He founded the company with one of his best friends. I believe they went to college together. The story to how Raising Cane's came to be is fascinating. I'll touch on it very, very briefly, but I would recommend you check out David Senra's podcast. He's got 2. He's got Founders, and then the other one's just David Senra, where he interviews some of the founders he actually did podcasts on for his Founders podcast. And Todd Graves is one of the interviews that he did. He tells the story of how he made money to create Raising Cane's. He raised enough capital to make it reality. So when he said this quote, he was reflecting on his early struggles in the creation of Raising Cane's. Him and one of his best friends, Craig, who was one of the co-founders of Raising Cane's with Todd, they wrote a college paper about the concept of Raising Cane's that ended up getting the worst grade in the class. I think it was a B-, but then I saw it was a C-. I don't know. I've seen both. So I'm not too sure which grade it actually was, but it was the worst grade in the class. Basically, the professor said a concept where you're just selling chicken fingers will never work. And that just lit a fire under Todd from that moment forward. And he created one of the biggest fast food chains in the world, especially in America. Kept getting rejected by banks in the beginning stages trying to get a loan. Then I did briefly touch on how he made money to support his Raising Cane's dream. He worked 95 hours a week as a boilermaker, and then eventually someone told him to go, hey, why don't you go up to Alaska and look into becoming a commercial fisherman for one summer? You make a ton of money doing that. So that's exactly what he did. He traveled to Alaska, hitchhiked to the town he needed to get to, found a boat captain that would take him on for the summer. And he would work 20-hour days, dangerous conditions, people would die, National Geographic's filming. Crazy, crazy story. Recommend checking out the interview and hearing it for yourself. And through it all, he refused to give up or sell Raising Cane's. And he's still running that company to this day. Even when he would face major challenges, he pushed forward. He created something that he truly loved doing that was part of his DNA. He eventually tried franchising at one point and it just didn't work out. Then he took back full control. He owns 90% of Raising Cane's to this day, and he doesn't have any plans on selling it. The unique thing with Raising Cane's, I mentioned the chicken fingers. He literally only sells chicken fingers. There's no other entrees. There's no burgers. There's no desserts. There's no salads, nothing like that. Chicken fingers. You have the option to buy 3 chicken fingers, 5, 6, so on and so forth. It comes with fries. It comes with a drink, and it comes with their Raising Cane's sauce. That's it. He hasn't added anything new to the menu since 2007, which was lemonade at that time. They obsess over the quality of the product. He's been doing that since the very beginning. The reason why he only wants to keep it as chicken fingers is because he wants to keep the quality as high as he possibly can. And if he added more items to the menu, that's going to reduce the quality overall of the restaurant, which in turn is going to reflect in the number of customers that show up. So that's why he wants to just focus on one concept, and he's perfected that as best as he possibly can with more room for improvement, obviously. So he created something that most people said would never work. He started from his first restaurant in Baton Rouge 29 years ago. And then it took him 18 months to start the second restaurant, and it's just been a snowball of growth ever since then, with some ups and downs. Hurricane Katrina wiped out or damaged 21 of his 28 stores in 2005. When that happened, he came close to having to close down in 2005 during Hurricane Katrina. So he's just reflecting on all the struggles at the time of this quote when he said this, and just how much resilience he had to display to make it through all those obstacles to be where Raising Cane's is today. It's a truly incredible story that I have a lot of respect for, and something I very happy to have discovered. Almost 3 decades later, he still has the drive to make Raising Cane's bigger and better than ever. He's created something he never wants to stop creating. That's the thing. Once you find that thing you never want to stop creating, don't let anything stop you, because there's people at one point in time that eventually have regret from stopping the thing that they were so passionate about and just love creating every single day, which we'll get into shortly. What does this quote actually mean? When you create and do, you're never going to stop creating and doing, because it's part of what you are. It's part of your DNA. Todd is absolutely obsessed with Raising Cane's. He enjoys it more than anything. He wakes up every day with a smile on his face that he gets to create this thing and expand upon it and improve it. He doesn't do it for the external awards. He doesn't do it for the money. He does it because he absolutely loves what he built. It's part of who he is as a human being. There's been many opportunities for him to franchise the company, to have someone buy out the company, but there's no dollar amount that he said he would consider selling for. Like, he loves it that much. He has this amazing quote he said multiple times: "God made me good at chicken fingers to help people." That's the simplest way to sum it all up. The fact that he is amazing at making chicken fingers to help people, to put a smile on people's faces, and then he employs tens of thousands of workers, that he tries to make it the best environment as possible for the employees and the managers. He's impacted probably millions of people's lives at this point, whether they just go to a Raising Cane's as a customer or his employees that enjoy working there and make a paycheck and make a living. So the quote actually means innovating, building, solving problems, taking action. You can't create without taking action. There's always something to improve and strive for. There's always a next goal. Even when he hits his goals, there's always something more to strive for. Like, there's over 900 stores in the US, or restaurants in the US at this point in time. He's the wealthiest restaurateur in the world with a $22 billion net worth, because he owns 90% of Raising Cane's. They've expanded into the Middle East. I believe they're opening their first restaurant in Europe in the coming months, which I believe was in London that they're opening. So he's just on a march to expand globally. Todd has to create. He will never sell the business, which I said, because it's his baby. In the interview that David Senra did with Todd Graves, he mentioned the founder of Trader Joe's, who wrote an autobiography. Trader Joe's at the time was the founder's everything. It was his life. And then eventually he got an offer to sell the company, which he accepted. And then at the end of the book, he basically said he regretted selling Raising Cane's.
I meant to say Trader Joe's.
He was never passionate about anything as much as he was about Trader Joe's from that point forward. And the eeriest part was, David said, the week that book was published, the founder of Trader Joe's ended up passing away. From the moment he sold Trader Joe's, his life wasn't as fulfilling anymore. There was nothing that could match that. And Todd, in the interview with David, was just like in awe. He got chills, because it's like, he doesn't want to make that mistake either. That's his baby. There's nothing that will come close to being as satisfying to him as a human being than his mission of Raising Cane's and making it the best he possibly can. Yeah, he could sell it one day and embark on another journey to build something else, but it's never going to be the love you have for the first thing that you're passionate about. The love he had for creating that grocery store. What's the mistaken interpretation people could have of this quote? If you create and do enough, you'll become successful. That's not necessarily the truth. You can create for your entire life, but that doesn't mean you're going to make a success out of it. James Dyson, he created 5,127 prototypes. Those all failed for the most part, except he finally found the one that succeeded. He could have very easily never found the one that succeeded and just been creating his entire life without finding that product that would ultimately be his breakthrough. Todd, he kind of got lucky in a way, because one of his first business ideas was the one that he made work. He was not going to stop until he made it work. So yes, you could create and create and create and just never have that breakthrough, which so many people have or never experience. But at the same time, if you stop, you're never going to potentially find that breakthrough. The key to creating a product or service that succeeds, from everything I see from the people that make it work is you need to create a product or service that is craveable. Todd Graves creates a product that is craveable. Steve Jobs created a product that was craveable. Every single business that succeeds, no matter if it's today or 100 years ago, created a product or service that people needed, that made people's lives better. What needs does your creation satisfy? Because it has to satisfy someone's needs in order to make it a success. I like this line I wrote: when creativity and action are a part of you naturally, you don't just stop because you hit a goal. You continue on because it's part of who you are. If you hit one goal, there's always something else to strive for. If you think you reached the mountaintop, there's another mountaintop to climb up towards. How does this quote apply to creatives, self-improvement, and just people reinventing themselves? Creators don't stop creating regardless if they're seeing results or not. They create simply because they love to. You don't want to be the founder of Trader Joe's who sold out for money and then later lived to regret that decision until the day he passed away. Create because you love to. If it's writing blogs, it's writing blogs. If it's writing books, it's writing books. If it's creating videos for the internet, it's creating videos. Find something that you love, because let's face it, we all have something that we love to create. Everyone has something different they love to create. The unfortunate part is some people never find what they love to create, because life should be the journey to find the thing you love creating. Ask yourself this question: what do you naturally create, improve, or build, even when it's hard, even when no one is watching? If there's something you can think of that you do that checks those boxes, then maybe you found your thing that you can create and expand upon. I know I'm starting to find out what that thing is for me. It's just a matter of just doing certain things by taking action. A real world example. Todd Graves is the real world example. From one store to 900 plus in the US. I know he just opened up near me in Massachusetts the other day. So he's expanding and expanding and expanding and trying to make the company better and better and better. I already mentioned the craveable aspect. He created a craveable product that people are still vying for 3 decades later. I think something that was David said, human beings, when they love something, they have to tell other people that they love that thing. It's just part of our psychology. I thought, I was like, you know what? When I like something, do I tell other people I like something? When I like a song, I send it to my brother. When I like a TV show, I tell someone else about it. Hey, I watched this TV show. It's awesome. When you go out to dinner, you like something on the menu that you got. It's like, wow, this is really good. You tell others that you like that thing. As human beings, we always want to tell people when we like or love something. That's why you have to make something so craveable that people tell other people about. Todd went through a 30-day period after his co-founder, Craig, left Raising Cane's. And he left simply because being in the kitchen, making the chicken, making the products, he just wasn't passionate about it. His heart was not in that. His heart is in the number aspect of things. So he ended up leaving the company, and Craig went
I meant to say Todd Graves here.
next 30 days just with a fogginess in his brain. He was scared because all of a sudden he was by himself. The person he went to war with to open that first store or first restaurant with left the company. So he's just wondering how to go about this thing next. And after that 30-day period, the vision was clear. He wanted to grow Raising Cane's as big as he could. And from that point forward, he's done exactly that. Todd Graves says something that I absolutely love, which is he will do one thing and do it better than anyone else. All of us are capable of finding that one thing that we can do it better than anyone else. It's just a matter of getting to that point. It's a matter of finding that thing. And like I said a couple minutes ago, some of us may never find that thing. Once you do find that thing, man, it's tough to stop you at that point. Something in my own life, I've always been one to struggle with consistency and showing up for myself on a consistent basis. So the last 86 days, I've posted a TikTok video on my personal account and my real estate account. I've never come close to doing that before. I've never stayed with something as consistent as this ever in my entire life. This has proven to me that I can create on a daily basis, that I have the ability to be able to do that. It's given me the confidence to keep going. And it's becoming part of my DNA to continue creating. I'm loving the aspect of it. I love the process of creating something. I think of an idea and then I eventually make a video about that idea and I put it out to the world. I love that process. It's addicting. It's real dopamine. It's not cheap dopamine. It provides that jolt that I need. It makes waking up every day even more worth it. In life, you're either a consumer or a creator. I don't want to be simply a consumer. I want to be the one that creates. Everything that we buy as human beings is because someone created that thing. That's what I want to be. I want to be something that helps the public that creates a product or service one day that helps other people, that makes other people happy, that educates other people, that entertains other people. I'm still trying to find out exactly what that is, but I'm getting there. And this podcast is something I'm doing too that I enjoy doing. I enjoy creating this thing. I enjoy doing the research and taking all these notes and just putting something out to the world. So yeah, I want to be a creator. Todd is simply the definition of his quote, which again, when you create and do, you're never going to stop creating and doing because it's part of what you are. It's part of your DNA. It's easier said than done to find that what that thing is for you, but we all have the potential to find that thing. Now, some of us will choose to be consumers and some of us will choose to be creators. Find your lane. It doesn't necessarily mean your life has to revolve around it. Maybe you just like painting. You like painting once a week after work or something. It could be something as simple as that. You don't have to try to make a business out of the thing you love. Just find something. If it's a hobby, it's a hobby. If it's working out, like working out, in my opinion, is creating something. You're creating the body that you want. So Todd Graves, to wrap it all up, one of my favorite entrepreneurs at this point in time. And I think that's going to continue with the more content that comes out about him. I'm sure he's going to be doing more interviews. Hopefully there's a book that he writes one day or someone else writes about him one day. I still have yet to this day to try Raising Cane's, but that's definitely on my agenda in the very near future. But Todd Graves, probably not the last time he's going to show up on this podcast.